Hey family, thanks for tuning in. I'm Ant, this is BT. The purpose of our show is to give a black perspective towards controversial and uncomfortable subjects. Unapologetic is a safe space for us and our viewers to embrace those difficult conversations. So with that being said, let's get right into it. BT, how you feeling, man?
Not bad, man. We getting close to my favorite holiday, Halloween, baby. It's spooky season for everybody out there. You know, I make some good spooky buffalo chicken dip. You know that, right?
I know that you don't make good dip, yeah.
Sprinkle a little bit of fake spiders in there. You good to go, my man.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I don't recommend that to our viewers.
Safety hazard, my bad.
But this week, so our topic this week is quote unquote not being black enough.
Yeah.
And you know the meaning behind that. So I just want to get into that and to see what you what you're thinking about that.
Yeah. So I know this probably is a topic that resonates with both of us as we went to college and went through high school and things of that nature. We've been in environments, we've been indulged with a very diverse crowd. So, but I know that there's situations that we have been in that were not ideal and at an age could be confusing or hard to take. So let me just ask an open-ended question then. Have you ever been characterized as not really black, quote unquote, not really black by a white person or a white crowd in general? And if so, how did you feel? How did you react? 'Cause I know that was a confusing time for me.
Right. No, I think that's a very important question that needs to be put out there and answered. So with that being said, I would say that I've never been told that directly, like you aren't black enough, but you can read body language, and you can read in between the lines, and I know I definitely can. So, for example, certain words that I may use or how I may dress, something as simple as wearing a belt, like not sagging pants, something along those lines. I have had white people that look at something that I say or something that I wear, something along those lines, that give me that look, kind of like a confusion look, like I expected something of you, and that's not how you presented yourself. So it's a sense of like, this is not what I saw on TV, this is not how, people of my culture are portrayed. So there's a level of confusion there because I don't meet that unrealistic expectation of what a black person is supposed to look like. So going into the feeling piece of it, it is really, really hurtful, to be very, very honest with you, because not only is it disrespectful to me as an individual, it's disrespectful to my entire culture, my entire race, because you're basically saying by having those type of gestures and sayings that you don't even dignify my culture and race enough to realize that we are very intelligent, we are very composed. We do know how to dress appropriately depending on the occasion. We do know when we can turn it on, turn it off as far as slang that we use, as far as the crowd that we're involved in, or maybe the topic that we're speaking about. That changes my type of rhetoric that I choose to use in that situation. So it's very hurtful, and honestly, it feels very, very disrespectful and demeaning, to be honest with you, to know that that's how some people perceive me as far as their expectation of me. So with that being said, what do you feel about that? What's your experience like if you've had one?
So, growing up in the area that I grew up, far north suburban area in Chicago, I've definitely experienced a few specific scenarios. I'm not gonna name drop names or anything, but I can just recall being in high school parties, and this is a larger conversation, of course, but rap songs are on and people saying the N-word. I'm like taken back. What's going? What have I gotten into? But it's something that the older and older you get into the more of those predicaments, right? Because when I was in middle school, no one's saying those words. You're a little naive. But then I started going out to parties and stuff like that, and there was a group of people just saying that word. And I'm trying to correct them. Hey, like that's not cool. Blah blah blah. And then I got the response, "Oh, you're not really black like that. Like it's all right. You understand what we mean." I don't. I truthfully don't understand what you mean. I would like them, those same people, to take a deeper reflection of what they really think that means, or what the implications are behind that. I can think of one specific scenario this past May, not specifically to the not black enough, but kind of the body language, the ideal. Right, we were out at a golf outing that I got invited to for one of my friends' birthdays, and everything went fine. Everybody had a great time, and at the end, we all took a group photo, and then they go, "Oh, let's get the token black guy in here for the picture. Make sure not to leave him out." That's not necessarily hurtful, but everybody's laughing and everybody's
Right.
they think that's the funniest joke in the world, and I'm taken aback. What am I supposed to think of that from everybody? And these are people that some people that I think are as friends, and they think of that manner. And this happened in May, this past May. We're in the light of the awakening of racial issues. Kind of the whole spawn of being the podcast, and those comments or those jokes are still considered as funny. Now, I'm not gonna shame the man. Because, like I said a couple of episodes, there's such thing as ignorance, right?
Right.
And there's people that don't know the hurt, like you mentioned,
the magnitude,
the feeling that sinks in your stomach when you hear something like that, and you think of being black as a joke to a group of people. And I talked to the guy and we squared it away, and I educated him on that. The first thing he says to me is, we kind of made those jokes forever. We've known each other for how long? Does that make it okay? Because I didn't speak on it because I was so hurt. I was confused.
Or maybe uncomfortable.
Internalized it, And I'm not saying these aren't good people, but it's that ignorance piece of the implications and the stereotypes that they're trying to reinforce behind what they're saying, right? But also, I know that it can happen on both sides of the spectrum. So
right. No, that's a good point. And to that point, there are some people that believe within our own black culture that there are black people that have this same stigma about not being black enough to their own people. So
true. Yeah.
With that being said, what type of effect do you believe that has on us as a culture when it comes to things like progression and being seen in certain perspectives and lights of in a positive manner?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's the same thing that I spoke to, in a couple seconds ago about being hurt and confused, right? I take pride in being black. I love being black.
100%.
I'll rep it any time and any day that I have, right? When I encounter other peers of my own culture that are essentially reinforcing that same stereotype, that same stigma that white people are inverse doing as well, they're coming both from the same point of view. They might be coming about it a different way,
right?
But it's coming from the same point of view. Anybody with a brain, or half a brain, when you take a step back to think of when white people say, "Oh, you're really not that black," what are they saying? They're saying their idea of a black person is not what you are.
Right.
You being educated, you going to suburban school, you getting A's, you being anything besides an athlete. You're not that black. Flip side, black people that are coming from a deeper urban area. I even have family members that have said that to me that live, in the inner city of Chicago, and they go, "Oh, he's a sellout. He's whitewashed. He's things of that nature, right?" What are you trying to tell me then? You're telling me that me being educated, me being intellectual, me being black and educated in general, or not from the same area that you're from, that I'm not black. So yeah, I think in a sense, when you have white people that are hearing other blacks say things of that nature, and they already have this ingrained in their brain, and these are thought processes that they're already thinking of themselves.
You're reinforcing it.
Right, inadvertently. And somebody that just has can do deductive reasoning, could come to the conclusion that they're talking about the same thing from two different sides of the spectrums, right? That's going to be a middle ground, and that's just reinforcing, like you said, the issues that we're trying to break from a stereotype, from a stigma, and that people have digested for a long time as an accurate stigma. Same thing with the stupid, stereotype all black people love watermelon.
Right.
Like just over and over reinforced stigma. I hate watermelon. I don't know. I really hate watermelon. I don't understand why that's a thing. But yeah, like it's just the reinforcement piece that makes me nervous about our own people using that dialect and that language. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think it has an adverse effect on what we're currently going through as far as for example, the Black Lives Matter movement. We want to be seen as people, as an equal. Right. So to that point, for you to then, if someone from my own race to say, hey, you're not being black enough because you're not doing X, Y, Z, I think it has an adverse effect because we want to be seen as equals because we are equal. And
Right.
equal doesn't mean just that we're human. That means intellectually, that means
Right.
physically, that means every part of a person that makes a person, whatever embodies a person that makes them a person. We're on equal footing in every regard. So when I hear that from another black person, even if they're just joking, it hurts me, not more of me personally, but it hurts me because I feel like that is your reflection of yourself if you make that statement.
Yeah,
It's a statement
that's true.
of ignorance, and it's a statement of your own self-reflection. You do realize when you say that, you're basically saying that you aren't equipped enough to be able to speak in a professional manner, if need be, to be able to change your rhetoric, depending on the scene, to be able to dress appropriately when it's calls for it. So
Correct.
I feel like you see yourself in a negative light, and only that, you see your entire race. Like, and if you have that mindset, what mindset do you have for your children? Like, do you not see your children being able to fit into a corporate setting, for example, or be able to speak and dress at, for example, a golf outing, to your point?
Right.
What do you expect for your children? What do you expect for your family? Do you not think that they're equipped?
Right.
Because if you do, then you should stop reinforcing this negative stereotype. Because even if you're joking, you're not serious, it's out there. People are listening, especially white people. They hang on to everything that we say. So when you say that, even in a joking manner, there's some people that don't think that you're joking, and you're reinforcing what they've heard, what they've seen on TV as a stereotype for a black person. So my thing is, take more pride in yourself. Give yourself more credit.
That's
Even
true.
if you aren't at the point to where you feel like you have you're able to dress and fit in certain crowds that you're not accustomed to, give yourself enough credit to know that you can get there.
Right.
There is that possibility, that chance. It just takes time. It takes just constant repetitions of being around in certain groups, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Right.
It's something to be proud of. To your point, I'm an extremely proud
Right.
black man. And I'm also proud that I can speak very well. And I'm also proud that I know how to be able to dress depending on the setting. I know how to be professional. I know how to be courteous, so on and so forth.
Right.
So I think everyone should keep that in mind, that it's not a bad thing to be smart. It's not a bad thing to have a good job, not a bad thing to be able to speak appropriately when it's called for.
Right.
Take pride in that. If you're not there, know that you can get there and you will get there. But stop reinforcing this negative stereotype, because it's adverse to our goal of progression as a culture and being seen as an equal in every right.
Right, big time. And I think the bigger thing behind that as well is that it reinforces, like you said, it puts limitations on our race as ourselves, right? And it also, I think, it alienates a certain demographic of black people, right?
Yes.
So you're seen in a negative light, or as not being, or like we mentioned in the first episode, an inclusive light of our own culture, right? Going to college, being into anime, hanging around groups of white people.
Yeah.
Those things in general have always been looked at by some of our own culture as things that are not following a black stature. There is no stature to being black. I'm born this way. I'm born this way. And the way that I choose to grow, the way that I choose to learn how to enable myself to act in society is my decision, right?
Right.
But I also think that it's helpful to enable myself to be more than that, and digest myself in a way that I can, like you said, go to corporate meetings, speak with, higher level executives,
Right.
start my own business, and have meetings with investors and things like that. These are all things that these are not exclusive to being white. Blacks can do these as well,
100%.
and they should be doing this as well. So putting that black enough limitation on it just because people are educated or they speak or they entangle themselves in different diverse groups, I think that stereotype and stigma for sure needs to be broken from the black and from the white side.
I agree. We weren't made in a box. We weren't made one size fit all when it comes to black people, and we need to carry ourselves as that and only accept that because we are different. Right. You and I are different. Although we may have a similar mindset on certain things or maybe a similar rhetoric on certain things, we're very different in various ways, and that is okay.
Right.
Because we aren't meant to be the same. We're all made different for a reason, and it's not just every other race. That's black people as well. We're different, so it's okay to be different when it comes to things like being educated, so on and so forth, etc. So let's all keep that in mind going forward. It's okay to just be you.
Yeah.
And there's no such thing as being black enough, because there's no set way on how a black person should be. We don't have any limitations, to your point.
Fully agree with you on that. Took the word out of my mouth, so don't really have much more to go on from there. But Just a quick reminder, of course, last week, until we launch our new charity of the month and our new small business of the month, we shout out to Lene Harper and the Harper Kid Foundation. I know a few friends of mine have actually went out and donated. So big kudos to them, and big kudos to the foundation for holding it down. Last week, Dolph Golf, Vic Hendo, let's get it. Proud of you, my boy. I know some people have went out and bought some merch. I know I bought some myself as well. So that's big time. So yeah, that's all I got from charity and the small business.
Awesome. With that, we're gonna go into the challenge of the week, which we always come in with something hot, something new, something different. That's the goal to help you enhance yourself. So for anyone that's tried to reaffirm the stereotype in the past of how a black person should act, I would say don't be ashamed of that, but learn from what we just talked about, it, digest it, and speak to someone else that has that stereotype of how a black person should carry themselves. And educate that person on the mindset that they should have as far as not trying to box us in, because we are people just like you are and there's not one way to act. So go out there, have that conversation and change your own mindset. All right. Thanks, family. We appreciate you all tuning in. As a reminder, we air every Wednesday evening. Please like, comment, subscribe. We would love to hear your feedback and your thoughts. Spread love. It's contagious. God bless.